Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, grabbing your phone and checking your inbox. And right there, sitting at the top of your screen, is an email that could completely change your life. For millions of people right now dealing with inflation, student loans, and a crazy economy, a message like this feels exactly like a lifeline.
A remote job, flexible hours, high pay, minimal experience. It is literally everything you've been searching for. The perfect opportunity, right when you need it most.
But what if the company doesn't even exist? What if that interview you're stressing over is a total fabrication? And what if the person on the other side of the screen isn't a recruiter at all, but a scammer actively preparing to steal your identity and maybe even your life savings? This isn't a hypothetical. Right now, online job scams are exploding, and ordinary people are falling into traps that look more professional than ever before.
In today's Explainer, we're basically looking at the anatomy of a digital heist. We're going to break down the criminal's exact playbook, stage by stage. First, how scams evolved. Then, stage 1, the bait. Stage 2, fake recruiters. Stage 3, the trap. And finally, how to actually protect yourself from all of this.
Okay, let's dive into this. First up, how scams have evolved. We really need to understand how these traps went from obvious, clunky ploys to highly sophisticated operations. A few years ago, spotting a fake job offer was pretty easy, right? You were usually dealing with some prince sending you an email riddled with terrible spelling from a really sketchy address. But today, totally different ballgame. Modern job scams use flawlessly written AI-generated emails, real corporate logos stolen from actual companies, and super convincing LinkedIn profiles. Sometimes they even set up fake interviews conducted by actual human beings.
But even with all this new tech, their methodology always boils down to 3 core steps. Step 1, build trust. Step 2, create urgency. And step 3, convince victims to hand over sensitive information before they even realize what's happening. It's a highly calculated process, built to bypass your natural defenses. And I really want to emphasize this point because it is absolutely crucial. These scams aren't targeting careless people. They're targeting hopeful people. They target individuals desperately searching for an opportunity to better their lives. And honestly, that psychological vulnerability is exactly why these traps work so incredibly well. So let's trace this chronological journey starting from the very first point of contact. Stage 1, the bait. This usually starts right on the platforms we use every day: job boards, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, or directly in your email. The scammers impersonate real tech startups, healthcare providers, or government contractors. The branding is flawless. But here's the genius of it. The compensation they offer is just believable enough. It's not so outrageous that it triggers your alarm bells, but it's highly attractive. Remote work, great pay, minimal qualifications. And this brilliantly illustrates the core manipulation at play here. Think about it. You've been job hunting for months, hearing nothing but crickets. Then you apply for this role and get a response almost immediately. The excitement of that quick response provides this massive emotional validation. It drops your guard, and you start blindly trusting the opportunity way before you verified it, which is exactly what they wanted. Which brings us to the next phase of the trap, stage 2, fake recruiters. Now contact is established, and the person on the other end is acting super professional and friendly. You might even go through a realistic-sounding interview, but this is where the subtle red flags start popping up. Maybe the entire interview is happening over text message or an encrypted chat app, no video calls whatsoever. Or the process is moving at an unusual breakneck speed, or perhaps their email address doesn't perfectly match the official company domain. Yet, victims overlook these warning signs because they're laser focused on landing that life-changing job. The scammer actually knows you might notice a small typo or an odd email address, but they're banking on the fact that you'll just brush it off. Their objective isn't to be utterly flawless. Their objective is simply to maintain the illusion and keep you engaged just long enough to reach the next stage. Let's move to and see how this builds into the climax of this digital heist. Stage 3, the trap. This is it. The fake job is officially offered. Congratulations, you're hired. The excitement peaks. And then comes the ask. Scammers usually extract value in one of 2 ways. First, money. They'll ask for a fake background check fee or tell you to buy home office equipment from an approved vendor, swearing they'll reimburse you. The second ask, information. They'll send you fake onboarding paperwork requesting tax forms, your social security number, banking details, and copies of your ID. And instead of going to HR,
All that sensitive data goes straight to a criminal. The aftermath is absolutely devastating. We're talking identity theft, financial fraud, complete account takeovers. And the heaviest part of this reality? The victim often doesn't even realize what happened until weeks later. They only find out when unauthorized accounts pop up, or suspicious transactions hit, or the collection agencies start calling. By then, recovering from the damage is incredibly difficult.
So why is this exploding right now? Well, the digital world basically erased the physical warning signs we used to rely on. Years ago, getting hired without ever meeting someone in person was a huge red flag. Now, with remote work being so normalized, it's totally expected. And on the flip side, artificial intelligence makes faking a company effortless. A single criminal can generate professional websites, customer support responses, and corporate emails in the time it takes you to brew a cup of coffee.
But listen, here is the good news. While these scams are sophisticated, just a few minutes of caution can prevent months of nightmare damage. Let's look at the final section, how to protect yourself. So the crucial point is implementing a solid defense strategy. First, verify everything independently. Go directly to the company's official website and see if the job is actually posted there. Second, scrutinize those emails. Real companies rarely use random personal addresses. Third, beware of speed. Real hiring processes actually take time. Fourth, never, ever pay your own money to get a job. And finally, entirely withhold your sensitive personal data until you've independently confirmed the employer's legitimate. If something feels rushed, stop, research, verify.
You know, the most dangerous scams aren't the ones that look sketchy. They're the ones that look wonderfully, perfectly legitimate. The scammers know that opportunity creates urgency, and urgency creates mistakes. The next message in your inbox could be the opportunity you've been waiting for, or it could be a carefully designed trap. And the difference between the two always comes down to one thing. Trust is valuable, but verification is essential. How will you look at your next job offer?
If you found this video helpful, share it with someone who's currently job hunting, and subscribe to Behind the Story for more investigations into online scams, internet mysteries, and the hidden side of the digital world. Because behind every store